Hey, what's up, my royalties? We're back at it again with another reaction video. This time we're reacting to Suspect in 87. Suspect in 80. No, that's how you read it. Why does it sound so weird? Suspect in 87-year-old grandmother, New York City shoved death surrender. This is royalties. Does this title make any sense to you? Let me reread this one more time. Suspect in 87-year-old grandmother's New York City shoved death surrenders. The grammar sounds so off. That doesn't make any sense. So are they saying like a grandma, like an 87-year-old grandma got shoved down, like shoved to death? Like someone shoved her, she fell, hit her head, and she died later? Like what is this title trying to get at? I have so many questions and no answers yet. Brother got to know what's going on. Maybe this Jimmy Neutron head looking guy and this looks like the Dr. Seuss lady. She's back on this news channel again. Let's see if they can explain the situation, because I'm confused. I gotta know more what's going on in this situation.
Of an 87-year-old woman shoved to the ground in Chelsea. Barbara Guzder later died.
So she got shoved on the ground.
Now,
okay.
2 weeks later,
that's what I was thinking.
A woman has surrendered to New York cops. But the big question tonight: why did she do this?
Eyewitness News reporter NJ Burkett is live in Chelsea with more. NJ.
Sade, of course, that is the big question that Bill is asking. Why did she do it? What led up to this horrible incident that, of course, captivated the city? And when you talk to people about this whole situation, it's elderly people in the city who feel this newfound sense of vulnerability. But yes, a suspect was arraigned here moments ago. A single count of manslaughter, 2 counts of second-degree assault.
How's that manslaughter?
In court, she actually.
How's that manslaughter? I mean, if a lady's old, you push her on the ground, she has a very high probability of getting seriously injured or dying from that incident. So how's that considered manslaughter? That's second-degree murder. You have different level of degrees of murder. First degree, you planned to murder somebody. Second degree, you killed the person. You didn't plan it out, but you still had the intent to kill the person. If you pushed the old lady at that age, what do you expect to happen? There's only 2 things going to come out of it. She's going to break a lot of bones, or she's going to die from that. Like, what do you thought? Now, to go with that, the grandma, 87 years old, what she do? Sorry, royalties. It's just the world we live in. I know nobody want to hear it, but our lifespan is not that long. So she was due within the next 5 years. It's just unfortunate she got murdered to death instead of dying from natural causes, but she was due to die within the next 5 years. But let's see why she did it. Let's see if they came up. They were able to find the answers, because I got to know.
Led to her parents' home on Long Island in the days after the incident, and then apparently hid there until there was an anonymous tip to police, which prompted her surrender in New York this morning.
Surrender? She turned herself in? I want to turn myself in. I'll be gone.
And said nothing. As she was led from
royalties always tell you, stay away from New York City, right? If you commit the crime, get out of New York City as well. Why stay within the facility, let alone be like this girl and turn yourself in? Now, guys, I'm not endorsing violence. I'm not saying violence is good by any stretch of the imagination. But if you already committed the crime, the evil deed has already been done. There's no going back. You might as well leave. You might as well try to get away. You know what I'm saying? Try to get away from the scene. Just saying.
From the 10th precinct after surrendering to NYPD detectives. But onlookers had plenty to say.
Horrible. Absolutely horrible. How do you shove an old lady? How do you shove anybody?
We feel victimized. We feel easily victimized. And I began to feel vulnerable.
So if you want to use that, she does look crazy. I mean, look at her. Royalties, look at her. She does look like she looked like a psychopath serial killer. Like, she did this many times, like killed multiple people. But let's say that they're going the route, right? Because they're saying this is manslaughter. That means something there's events leading up to getting the manslaughter, right? There was an argument, there's a bickering. So if you guys were neck watchers, turning your neck, seeing the whole incident, obviously there was some type of heated exchange words between the two. How come nobody in there at that time came up and like, hey, you sit over there, hey, you stay over there, go about your business? You guys are the problem too. being a bystander doesn't. Being bystander makes you guilty as well because you stood there and watched it the whole entire time as the incident was going through it, right? As she was going through the argument, because it gets to the point where the shove, you know, she fall on the ground, hit her head on the ground. Then at the point it's too late. She's in a coma. Then looks like a couple days later in her coma she died. But I'm saying, you guys say it's disgusting. You guys saying you guys are talking all this smack. You guys didn't do anything during that time. So I don't want to hear it. I do not want to hear it. I don't care what the people are going to say. You were just watching. You could have stopped this incident from happening.
Ever since she was seen on surveillance video leaving the crime scene where the victim lay bleeding on the sidewalk. Barbara Gustern was 87 years old and suffered a traumatic brain injury.
Yeah.
After witnesses
What I thought. Hit her head, went in a coma, died a couple days later.
Who called her an offensive name that begins with the letter B. AJ Gustern is the victim's grandson.
She crossed the street, shouted something derogatory at my grandmother and pushed her down, and then fled across the street and just fled.
The motive was still not clear late this afternoon, and sources say the two women did not know one another. Ms. Gustern was a beloved vocal coach who trained 3 generations of singers, many of whom performed on Broadway. She was on her way to a performance when she was shoved and died 5 days later. Lauren Pazienza's family lives in Port Jefferson, Long Island, but she maintains an address in Astoria, Queens. She worked most recently for a high-end French furniture designer. For days, AJ.
So she's making 6 figures.
Imagine who the suspect.
So you gave all that money away. Gave away your life for what?
White hot today. I've been trying to give this woman the benefit of the doubt. It seems to me like this woman comes from a similar background. Like, what really got to me was finding pictures of her smiling in art galleries, dressed nicely with other people.
Defense attorney Arthur Idella.
They're absolute strangers, and whether it was a push or whether it was a shove or whether it was a kick or whether someone tripped, the evidence is not very solid on that at all. So we'll see what happens.
Ms. Pazienza was distraught at times in court. She's apparently engaged to be married in June. Her parents were in court today.
She was engaged. She had like a normal life, apparently.
The judge ordered a psychiatric examination, and she is ordered held on $500,000 bail tonight. Live tonight in Lower Manhattan. NJ Burkett, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Unnecessary. Well, like I told you guys before, New York City, the craziest city in the world, or at least the craziest city in the United States. Literally, old lady walking down the street to go to Broadway to watch some music passion, wherever she's trying to go, and a random 22-year-old girl push you, call you B-word, and you die from it. I mean, how more tragic can this story get? But royalties, that's it with the story. Well, this video, you know, in general. Make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. And until next time, catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.